regional and global responses. Bernard Ahianfo was speaking at an Interparliamentary Union workshop on human rights for MPs in Accra.
Parliament plays a central role in ensuring the respect, protection and fulfillment of human rights. As a result, the Interparliamentary Union (IPU), which supports national parliaments in exercising their prerogatives to promote and uphold human rights, particularly children's rights, organized a workshop for MPs on the Human Rights Committee. It was, among others, to introduce MPs to the scope and responsibilities of their mandate, with focus on human rights and child trafficking. The First Deputy Speaker, Bernard Ahianfo, said Parliament, through the Human Rights Committee, has prioritized its oversight role and is working closely with stakeholders to strengthen legal framework.
Child trafficking continues to be a great concern, one that undermines the dignity of our children and robs them of their future. It is a problem that transcends borders, therefore require coordinated international, regional and local responses.
Chairman of the Human Rights Committee, Ernest Yao Enim, was hopeful the MPs will be equipped to be able to monitor the treaties that the country has signed on to.
We are not one of the best practice across the world, but within the sub-region, we are actually up there. Ghana and Nigeria are the only parliaments that have the Human Rights Committee. So that's a big step in the fight for human rights issues. The last UPR review we went to, that is the Universal Periodic Review, Ghana supported over 268 recommendations. And within the supported recommendations, we have made a giant stride in the implementation of these recommendations.
A former Kenyan Speaker of Parliament, David Ikwe Ituru, said issues such as death penalties need to be removed from the country's books.
So I think death penalty seems to be a big issue for the Ghanaian Parliament, and I subscribe to that. Every life is important. You cannot be prosecuting people because they have committed a crime. It seems like life imprisonment is the aim thing.
And now the Ghana Police Service in the Half Asili Division has arrested Isaiah Moro, 58, and Suleiman Abdul Rashid, age 27, for subjecting a 12-year-old child to severe beatings in a viral video. In the video, the two men are said to have hanged a boy with a rope tied to a roof and subjected him to severe caning for allegedly stealing 200 Ghana cedis. The boy pleaded for mercy and was beaten hard by a male adult. The victim will occasionally rest his leg on mud thatch building when he obviously became tired from the prolonged hanging. After the beating, a middle-aged man came to smear a substance many believe to be ginger or pepper around his body and genitals. The incident is said to have happened at the new Ankasa community near Elubo in the Western region. The suspects are currently in police custody assisting with investigations. Meanwhile, the boy who was rescued by the police has since been handed over to his father after receiving medical treatment. Quite a sad one there if you ask me personally. We will keep tab on this very development and finish with updates and what exactly happens to these suspects by the police in our subsequent bulletins. And now the Health Services Directorate of the University of Ghana has cautioned the university community of a recent resurgence in COVID-19 cases, with a few suspected and confirmed cases reported in the university immediate vicinity. The University Health Services Directorate noted that in light of the development, all staff, students and visitors are strongly advised to remain vigilant and be strictly adhere to the following recommended preventive measures to reduce the risk of infection in the community, and wear face masks properly, especially in enclosed or crowded spaces. Also wash hands frequently with soap and running water or use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Also maintain physical distancing of at least 1 meter where possible and avoid large gatherings unless absolutely necessary. Also ensure good ventilation in offices, lecture halls and meeting rooms, and also stay at home if you experience any flu-like symptoms and seek prompt medical attention. The Health Services Directorate has also reactivated its COVID-19 response protocols, including screening measures at health facilities, while it monitors the situation closely for regular updates. And now let's listen to a health expert in that regard.
All right. So, the university is a community on its own, and they are able to use certain measures to manage the situation. So I'm very happy at what they have published. And first of all, I would want to encourage the general public that this is not an alert to create fear and panic among people, but it's just for us to be mindful of what we need to do extra to keep ourselves safe. So as an university community, it's a good indication for the alert they have given. And like you rightly said, because of the sheer numbers that are on the university campuses, it poses a bit of a challenge for them. But in most of these public health interventions, it's usually about education and creating that awareness amongst people, so that if people have the symptoms, they are careful not to expose every other person around them, and then seek early measures of intervention or treatment from the health facilities. Of course, in all of these, to gathering the helpful for us to know what extra intervention needs to be instituted, just in case they need are unable to help us control the situation. It may get to a point where, because of the data and information that we're able to generate from it, we may have to include the general public health response team from the Ministry of Health, depending on how the data is to all that we are able to find.
Well, in more news this morning, 2 people have been arrested and 1 person hospitalized following clashes between youth of Abuesi on one hand and Shama and in Chaban on the other hand, all in the Shama municipality of the Western region. Rama Smith reports that there is police presence currently in these communities where tensions are high.
There's tension brewing here at Shama. I'm basically here in the Shama district, and interestingly, 3 communities under the Shama paramountcy. I'm talking about Inchaban, I'm talking about Abuesi, and then Shama itself. The youth are fighting each other. One group had apparently gone on a float, and there had been an altercation, and this altercation had resulted in a fight with some sustaining various degrees of injuries, as we are being told. And then another group also was brought into the midst. So 3 communities currently fighting. And this morning, we have been to Abuesi community, which sees itself as the victim, because they tell us that they had gone on a float to Shama and they were attacked. And then their people were also attacked by youth from Inchaban. And even as we were in the community, the leadership was trying to calm tempers, and then we got information that some youth of Inchaban has also blocked the road.
We should be very careful, right? Very careful.
It is interesting to know that Abuesi is like a landlocked community. When they need to get out, they either have to pass through Inchaban or Shama. So one of the outlets is Inchaban, which had been blocked. And we have seen traders, school children, and even drivers saying that they have been attacked. Some elders have tried to broker peace, but those in Shama are adamant and keep on attacking the Abuesi people, including school children. 2 of our church members who went to work at Shama yesterday were assaulted. They had to return. So we are pleading. All we want is peace. I believe that is why the police came, and as we came to meet the youth who have blocked the road and throwing stones at oncoming vehicles. And 2 people have so far been arrested. I can confirm that 1 person is on admission at the VRA hospital at Abuaze in the Shama municipality.
Now we have assembled all the youths and then the elders, so that there won't be any fight against Shama, to beat the elders from Shama districts.
Meanwhile, the MCE for Shama municipality, Paul Otis Daintu has called for calm. He says they've held several engagements with the community and the stakeholders to ensure calm, and he believes that going forward, everything will be settled.
Temporarily, we are banning all activities involving floats and other things. And also, there are people that are being identified. So we'll pick them and then send them to the appropriate quarters. When all these things are done, I think it will be okay for us.
Erama Smith, TV3 News in Chaban.
Well, let's know what you make of this very development. We are active on Facebook as TV3 Ghana. Engage us with your comments, opinions, and reservations. And we'll surely read them and share them to the rest of the world. And now the first batch of Ghanaian pilgrims has arrived from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Leader of the 2025 Hajj Task Force, Collins Dowda, has described this year's pilgrimage as a success despite earlier criticisms. Take a listen.
The first batch, comprising 425 pilgrims who departed Accra for the annual Islamic Hajj ritual, arrived at the Kotoka International Airport aboard a Lion flight. The Hajj Task Force, led by former Works and Housing Minister Collins Dowda, put in place adequate measures to receive the pilgrims. Families and relatives thronged the Hajj village to welcome their loved ones, who were chauffeured from the tarmac for immigration checks and documentation before heading home. Collins Dowda maintained that this year's pilgrimage has been seamless and relatively affordable due to the government's prioritization of Islamic affairs.
In Makkah, accommodation was excellent. For the first time in Hajj organization, Ghana was able to provide 2 5-star hotels for our programs. One taking 900 programs and the other taking 1,500 programs. It hasn't happened before, and we're close to Haram.
Despite earlier criticisms about preparations and accommodation arrangements in the Holy Land, Collins Dowda insists that the Hajj has been successful.
I haven't seen any organization without criticisms, so I won't talk about criticisms. As I've always said, my first task as a leader of a task force was to make sure that the Hajj fare was reduced. Alhamdulillah, I can report that 2025 Hajj programs paid 62,000.
TV3's Volta regional correspondent Abdul Faisal Idrisu was among the first group of pilgrims to return. Another flight is expected to arrive at dawn. Meanwhile, 7 other flights have landed in Tamale from Saudi Arabia. Stanley Nible, TV3 News, Accra.
Welcome back, Volta correspondent from that very pilgrimage. And now another building has collapsed on the administrative stretch of Cape Coast this dawn and trapped about 2 persons. Fortunately, victims have been rescued and are currently in the hospital receiving treatment. It will be recalled that on Saturday, a building collapsed at London Bridge in Cape Coast, where 2 lives were lost. There will be more in our subsequent bulletins regarding this very development. In more news this morning, lawyers of the former board chair of the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, Professor Christopher Ameyaw-Kumfi, have filed processes at the ACRA High Court seeking to stop the criminal case against their client over what they term as premature. Professor Ameyaw-Kumfi, together with the former CEO of GIF, Solomon Asamoah, have been charged with multiple offences in connection with the failed Accra SkyTrain project. Lord Iduasari reports.
The Deputy Attorney General and former board chairman of the Ghana Infrastructure Investments Fund, Professor Ameyaw-Kumfi, and the ex-chief executive Solomon Asamoah have been charged with multiple counts of causing financial loss to the state, conspiracy to commit crime, and intentional dissipation of public funds. They are both pleaded not guilty and are on a 10 million Ghana cedi and 15 million Ghana cedi bail respectively, with sureties to be justified. Per the terms of the bail conditions, they are required to report to the police regularly. While Professor Ameyaw-Kumfi was ordered to report once a week, Asamoah reports every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday until the final determination of the case. Lawyers of the accused persons pray the courts to vary the terms of reporting to the police by their client. Presiding Judge Comfort Asiame ordered the defense lawyers to formally file the application to enable the prosecution to respond before ruling on it. The court is also expected to carry out a case management conference tomorrow, where the Deputy Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dr. Justice Shremsai, is expected to withdraw some witness statements in the matter. Per the facts of the case, a memorandum of understanding covering the Accra SkyTrain project was signed between GIIF and Africa Investor Holdings Limited. A shareholders agreement dated January 9, 2019 was signed between Africa Investor Holdings Limited, a company incorporated under the laws of the Seychelles with IBC on one part, and the GIIF on the other. Africa Investor Holdings Limited was to transfer 10% of its alleged 100% shares in a company styled AI SkyTrain Consortium Holdings, a limited liability company registered in Mauritius, to the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund. Solomon Asamoah, according to the prosecution, signed the shareholders agreement on behalf of GIIF. A few weeks later, on February 4, 2019, AI SkyTrain Consortium Holdings, citing the shareholders agreement as a basis, wrote a letter in which it requested a payment of the lump sum of $2 million as the price for the alleged shares. On February 25, 2019, Asamoah and Professor Amir Kunfi jointly, in a letter, instructed the United Bank for Africa to transfer $2 million from GIIF Project Development Company accounts to the bank account of the Africa Investor Holdings Limited in Mauritius. Nothing was, however, seen or heard of by GIIF after the payment was made. Lord Idwasari, TV3 News, Accra.
And now members of the Public Services Workers Union, PSWU, at the National Identification Authority have commenced an indefinite strike action. And this follows what the union describes as protracted delays and broken assurances from the Ministry of Finance regarding the payment of the operational support allowance.
According to the Public Service Workers Union, the allowance in question, described by the union as the only financial supplement to the NIA staff, mega basic pay, has not been paid since January 2025 despite prior arrangements. The strike, announced in a press statement released on Tuesday, comes after a final round discussions with the ministry on June 23, 2025, failed to yield a clear commitment or timeline for the resumption of payment. A visit to the head office and the Greater Accra Regional Registration Center saw clients stranded. Some of them shared their frustration.
It's going to be difficult for me because I really need a car to do my registration in school, and also I'm going for an outreach, a church outreach also.
The General Secretary of the Trade Unions Congress also spoke with the news team.
The understanding we had and what should have happened is that automatically January 2025 controller should have taken over and started paying this allowance because we've already finished the negotiation. There are no outstanding issues. Interestingly, at the end of January, when the staff received their salaries, we noticed that the allowance was not paid. When we followed up, it was explained to us that due to the transitional arrangements, it has been delayed. As soon as that is completed, they will be paid. Unfortunately, we waited, explained to our people, and after the transitional arrangement, it was still not paid. We engaged, only to be told that yesterday, 23rd, Finance was requesting a meeting with us. Unfortunately, the meeting did not go well. And the only explanation the Ministry of Finance could give us was that it was not budgeted for, which was in doubt. If they have any other challenge, which if they explain to us, we are human beings, we will sit to see, but to tell us that it was not budgeted for and therefore you cannot pay, we thought was not good enough. This actually infuriated our members who had, as far back as 28th of April 2025, given us an ultimatum of 2 weeks for the issues to be resolved.
How can that be? This is new just in. Former Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Reverend Dr. Mesheda Wosuamwa, and 2 other former officials of the GRA are in custody over their roles in the SML scandal. The other 2, according to sources at the OSP, are Dr. Isaac Krentel, a former Commissioner of Customs, and Christian Tete Soti, a former technical advisor to the Commissioner General of the GRA. The 3 former GRA officials, 2 of whom are now workers for Strategic Mobilization Limited, spent last night in the cells of the National Intelligence Bureau, formerly BNI. They were placed in custody after they failed to meet bail conditions following their questioning and arrest by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Well, on that SML note, we end the morning news. For more news updates, just log on to our website. It's tv3news.com. You can also follow us on Instagram. It's tv3.gh. My name is Josh Queening. It's always a pleasure coming your way. Enjoy the morning.
From the Savannah region, I'd always wanted to make a positive impact in the society and touch lives. Pursuing a law degree was already demanding, but the flexibility of Ghana's Most Beautiful made it possible, and I knew this journey would transform me.
GMB 2024 is Titiaka!
I am Queen Titiaka, your Ghana's Most Beautiful 2024 winner. Today, I'm a proud law graduate and I've successfully launched my Empowering Communities for Climate Action project. I'm also an influencer for brands now, and I can proudly knock on any door and it will be opened. Are you bold, beautiful, and aspiring to become the next Ghana's Most Beautiful Queen? Scan the QR code on your screen to register for this year's Ghana's Most Beautiful. Auditions will be held June 25th at Kumasi at the Micklin Hotel and on June 27th at TV3 Kanda. Come dressed in your GTP skirts or shorts paired with a tank top. This could be your story too.
GMB is sponsored by GTP, Gino, Pomo Tomato Mix, Frutelli Calipo, Heaven Black Mosquito Spray and Coil, and Napa Foods, Pepsodent Charcoal and Lemon Infused Formula, and Pepsodent Natural Herbal Formula, Geisha Black Soup, Vitamilk.
Cash out, oh, cash out. My name is Yawa Sama and I am the winner of the MG Jackpot. You heard me right? I've been playing this for quite some time now and then I decided to play again. And then I said, okay, let me just play 3 times. And then I did. Oh my God, I was watching. In fact, my eyes were fixed on the screen because I just wanted to see my number displayed that I have won. And then boom, my number appeared on the screen. I'm telling you, I am the winner of the cash prize. If you want to be a winner like me, just pick your phone, dial *439# and then you could win an amazing cash just like me, maybe even bigger than mine. So see you on the flip side. Po, 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 po.
Encounter the true spirit of prophecy, which is the testimony of Jesus Christ, and awaken to the limitless life of God beyond your wildest imaginations through the power of prophecy with Prophet Elvis Mbonye, now every Saturday, 11 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time.
The Power of Prophecy now shows on Sunday at 10 a.m. on TV3.
Our mission here at TV3 is that the news comes first, and that's the promise of News Central.
With reporters every corner of the country.
Consignment to attain reaction
to production, Hidden Lions, and experts across the subjects that affects you the most.
We stay across the big stories that impact you the most as they break, develop, and evolve into major national issues.
With all angles covered across the country and across every subject. I am Kemini Amano.
And I am Eric Mawina Egbeta.
News Central, live weekdays at 12 p.m. on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
Wherever the action, whatever the story, how high the stakes, we have all the updates, the analysis, the exclusive interviews, plus the full and complete story always.
Sports Daily shows Monday to Friday at 10:30 a.m. on TV3.